The GameCube was the most powerful console in its generation, though still unfortunately underperformed. But its power led to ideas that couldn't be done before with the 64. One of those games is Pikmin, created by the mind of one Shigeru Miyamoto, whose name you probably have heard before. Mole Mania. Pikmin started from a tech demo called Mario 128, where there were a bunch of Marios running around, and it showed how powerful the GameCube could be by having so many high-quality models on screen at once. And that was supposedly the building block for Pikmin, with the 100 Pikmin on screen at once, among other things. In Pikmin, you play as Olimar, a spaceman, who crash lands on a deserted planet. The parts of Olimar's ship crash lands all around this planet, and he only has 30 days to find all of his parts. Okay, not all of his parts, but most of his parts, or he dies. During his time on this planet, he discovers a plant-like creature, which he names Pikmin, named after the Pikmin parrots back on his homeland, Hokotate, because that's what it looks like, and also because you pick man, pick men, get it? You pick them out of. He learns that these Pikmin can reproduce via these pellets and enemies, and there are now more than one. And he realizes that he can use these Pikmin to carry his ship parts back to his ship and repair it. He could not do that himself, so I guess he got really lucky. He then learns that there are more Pikmin. Outside of red, there are also yellow and blue Pikmin. Each Pikmin have their own unique abilities, like red Pikmin can withstand fire, yellow Pikmin can be thrown higher, and blue Pikmin can withstand water. And later on down the line, yellow Pikmin can also resist electricity, but that's not important right now. Oh, they can actually carry bombs, but like every Pikmin can carry bombs now, so like that's like I guess they needed the yellow Pikmin to have a unique ability besides just being thrown higher. So it's like that's really stupid though. He also uses the Pikmin to fight giants, not as friendly creatures that also inhabit this planet. The reason I love Pikmin so much, or basically just the reason why I love any obscure game so much, is because of how unique it is. Pikmin is about strategy, multitasking, time management. I should have said that instead. If you know what you're doing, you can achieve so much in a short time, which by the way, you are short on time since you have 30 days. And you have to escape the planet after the night begins. And the strategy just doesn't end at the items that you need to get, but the enemies that you have to fight. You can fight multiple enemies at once if you're good enough, and also, each enemy is taken down differently. Pikmin only sold 1.6 million copies, but that's still pretty good for a new IP, and was also good enough to have a direct sequel, also released on the GameCube, Pikmin 2. Pikmin 2 expanded on the gameplay of Pikmin 1 by adding new Pikmin, white and the purple Pikmin, and also the Goat Bulbmin, shout out, new enemies, and new bosses. And it ditched the countdown-based gameplay and focuses more on exploration, and also included multiplayer. Pikmin 2 takes place directly after Pikmin 1, where Olimar returns to his home. We also learn that he is an employee of the company called Hokotate Frights. Since he was gone, his company went into debt. And we learn that objects that were on the planet that Olimar was at are actually incredibly valuable. So the company president sends Olimar back to the planet and brings along his co-worker Louie. By the way, Olimar's Japanese name is Orimar, which is an anagram for Mario, and Louie is close to Luigi, so Mario and Luigi. Yeah, I see what you did, Miyamoto. We learn way later that Louie lied and actually ate the golden Pikmin carrot that put the company to debt, so like, yeah, this guy is a menace. And that's not going to be the only time he's going to be a menace. Anyways, like I said before, Pikmin 2 is actually extremely different from 1 in a lot of ways. One very obvious way is that you're not collecting your ship parts, because this time you land safely on the planet. You're actually collecting objects. In-game, they're called treasures, and a lot of treasures in this game are based off of real-life products. And even better than that, each version of the game has different products judging from the region, which I think is so freaking cool. It also adds a little bit of world building, because this very well could mean the Pikmin planet is actually a post-apocalyptic Earth, and every human is dead. And also, I forgot to mention that Olimar is like the size of an ant, so that's why all of these products are huge. So you take the treasures from the Pikmin planets and take them back to Hokotate so that your company doesn't land in debt forever. Pikmin 2 introduces caves. These caves are pretty much roguelike in a sense, because they're randomly generated and there are multiple floors. This is where the main part of the game is, and I just find it really, really cool that this is how they do it. Pikmin 2 also introduces the Piklopedia, where you can see behaviors of enemies and learn more about enemies and treasures. And the best part is that you can see the perspective of both Olimar and Louie. Olimar goes through every little thing about it and even mentions his family from time to time, while Louie just wants to eat everything. With the enemies specifically, he literally has a whole recipe on how to prepare them. It's hilarious. Oh yeah, by the way, the yellow Pikmin are now immune to electricity because electricity has been introduced, and white Pikmin are immune to poison, which is new to Pikmin, and purple Pikmin are heavy and strong, so they can just squish enemies easily and carry things easier than other Pikmin. Pikmin 2 also introduces challenge and battle modes because it has multiplayer, where a second player can play as Louie. Challenge mode is exactly how it's named. You do challenges in a set time limit, and battle mode is even more straightforward, where you battle each other. Battle each other by taking treasures from other people and taking it to your home base. And enemies also, sometimes. Look at the faces. They're pretty funny. Pikmin 2 is also the first game with a post game, where once you get enough money to free yourself from debt, you leave to your hometown, but leave Louie behind on accident, and the president has to come to bring Louie back from the planet. But Louie is just pretty much chilling. Like, he actually loves it there. He loves it there so much that he has a giant creature go and destroy you. I don't know if he's the one controlling it, but he's not stopping it either. He's just kind of going with it. So honestly I feel like I told you, he's a menace. Though Pikmin 2 improves on Pikmin 1 so much, it did do slightly worse with only selling 1.1 million copies. This is where the downfall of Pikmin begins. Pikmin was released on the Wii through the new Play Controls brand. GameCube games on the Wii with motion controls. Games like Donkey Kong Jungle Beat, Mario Power Tennis, and Chibi Robo were on it. And this makes sense since the GameCube didn't really sell that well, and the Wii was selling like hotcakes, so you know. Though it was still pretty negatively received for some reason, because they do that today now, so I don't know. This is how I played Pikmin 2, and this is the best way to play Pikmin. The motion controls are absolutely perfect for this game. Neither Pikmin 1 or 2 hit 1 million copies. Not even close. Also, Pikmin 2 didn't come to the Wii in North America until 2012. 3 years after it released everywhere else. Did they just forget to hit the send button? Pikmin 3 was in development for the Wii, but got delayed and ended up releasing on the Wii U. That's how I knew this series was cursed. Pikmin 3 introduces 3 entirely new characters. The prodigy, Alf, the captain, Charlie, and the girl, Brittany. They all hail from a planet called Kopai. which is currently experiencing a very serious famine. Alf, Brittany, and Charlie go to a planet called PNF 404, which is the new name of the Pikmin planet, PNF 404, and it's also a reference to error code 404, because video games. So they end up crash landing and they get separated. Fantastic. But thankfully this is the Pikmin planet, so they don't have to worry about that. This time around, you're collecting fruit to bring back to your home planet Kopai. You turn that into juice because it's literally massive, so like how are you gonna eat that? And every fruit counts because this is how you stay alive on this planet. The new Pikmin in this game are the rock Pikmin, which are hard so they can break like crystals and stuff, and the wing Pikmin, which seems pretty straightforward, which is also very useful because they can fly, so they can fly over gaps in water. By the way, I forgot to mention that Pikmin can't swim, besides the blue ones, so they just die. Since this is the first HD Pikmin game, of course it's going to look baller, and also the fruit looks so realistic. And the spectacular motion controls from new play controls on the Wii Pikmin games are back, and just as good. So all the three captains get back together, and we see that Louie is back on this planet, who the Kopaites mistake for Captain Olimar, who was also on this planet again, because they are in debt. Again. This is also the first Pikmin game with multiple endings, and the only one. Okay, that's not true, but technically, it's not true. But anyways, judging by the amount of fruit that you get, the ending is different. You either slightly cure the famine, or your home is like not starving anymore, yippee. Pikmin 3 introduces mission mode, which is pretty much the challenge mode from Pikmin 2, and a new battle mode called Bingo Battle, where there are things that you have to collect on a bingo card, and if you get a bingo with those items, then you win. This is actually a really cool battle mode. It's very different from what the usual is, and I like that a lot. Too bad we're never gonna get that again! Not only is Pikmin 3 a Wii U game, but it's also a Pikmin game. It sold 1.2 million copies, which is better than 2, but is still low. And I'm telling you, if this was on the Wii instead, at least 3 million. It got DLC, which the Wii couldn't do, but it only added mission mode stages and a single bingo battle stage. Despite the fact that at this point Pikmin 4 was confirmed to be in development, it did not get better from here, because the next game is Pikmin 4. The 3DS. I haven't played Hey Pikmin, but one thing I know about it is that not a lot of people liked it, because it's 2D, and not Pikmin 4. And that could be seen by its sales. The lowest selling game in the series. This is not going to be the only time I'm mentioning Hey Pikmin in this video, but just know, I'm breezing over it, because I know not a lot of people care, and I don't really care either, to be honest. Finally, the Nintendo Switch released, and with that, probably the best era to be a Pikmin fan. First, Pikmin 3 Deluxe. Like most Wii U games, it came to the Switch. Pikmin 3 Deluxe got a lot of new content. A whole side story mode featuring Olimar and Louie, which take place during the story of the main game. They take place in modified areas of the main story, but still, it's actually really awesome. It also added multiplayer and re-added the Piclopedia, which was missing from 3 for some reason. I don't know why they did that. And also re-included Louie's recipes on how to prepare the creatures. It also adds Alf, Brittany, and Charlie's perspectives on all of these as well. This re-release sold really well, finally breaking 2 million copies. It may not be that much still, but for Pikmin, this was huge. Second, Pikmin Bloom, mobile app, developed by Niantic of Pokemon Go fame. Randomly announced on a random day at a random time at night, Nintendo tweeted that a new mobile game is in development at Niantic for Pikmin. Now, it being Niantic can only mean one thing: augmented reality. And yeah, you can grow Pikmin, dress them up, send them to fight mushrooms, take pictures with them, take pictures of them with augmented reality, and of course, go on walks. And while you go on your walks, you can plant flowers, which aren't Pikmin. This is a free application, so it makes sense why it has so many downloads as it does. It's a pretty okay game, that's all you can do in it. But that's fine, because I don't really want to spend this much time on a mobile game. Then, in the direct after Pikmin 4 was revealed, after Miyamoto spent that much time on a mobile game, Pikmin 1 and 2 were announced to be coming to the Switch. And this was the major turning point of the franchise. This is where people started caring about Pikmin. People new to the series were posting on social media, finally understanding the horrors of this franchise. They finally understand just how dark it is, just how scary it can be. The stress of Pikmin. They finally get it. And it's all over social media, which is free marketing. Me and many other Pikmin fans were very happy to see this, and gave us hope that Pikmin 4 was finally going to break the streak. We don't know how much the remasters sold, but we can assume it's a lot because of how much exposure they got. Anyways, let's talk about Pikmin 4 now. Easily the largest game in the series. The most characters, main or otherwise, the most collectibles, larger areas, camera controls, the list goes on. And you are able to customize your playable character, which is new for the series. In Pikmin 4, a guy named Olimar crash lands onto a deserted planet. Later, he discovers these plant-like creatures that he calls Pikmin, named after the Pikmin carrots from his home planet, Hokitate. He finds out that these Pikmin can reproduce. I don't think that was anywhere near the first time I said it. Yeah, as you can see, this is a retelling of Pikmin 1, it seems. But that isn't really important at the moment, so we're just gonna move on. You play as the rookie for the Rescue Corps, who came to this planet, PNF 404, to find Olimar after he sent a signal to get the Rescue Corps' attention. They also crash land on the planet, get separated, and yeah. This is so common, it's almost theorizable why this keeps happening. You wake up, and then you partner up with the rescue dog Ochi, which is literally the best character in the game, by the way. I don't know if you know this, but like Ochi is like really awesome, you know, he's my dog. There are 7 other members of the Rescue Corps that you need to find. Cullen, the comms operator, Shepard the captain, also owner of Ochi, Russ the scientist, Dingo the mission ranger, Yoni the doctor, and Bernard the pilot, who was pretty much just a black Olimar. Also, I just realized by looking at the wiki that all of their names are based off of dogs. Yeah, I don't know how I didn't realize that. So basically, your ship runs on this thing called Sparklinium, which is from Hey Pikmin, so it wasn't entirely useless after all. And to get Sparklinium, you need treasures. Yeah, treasures are back. I mean, treasures were also back in Hey Pikmin, but like I didn't want to talk about that game for like longer than 5 seconds. And alongside the return of treasure, caves also had to make a return. But this time, they're not randomly generated. These are all set in stone levels. Which is probably for the better, actually, now that I think about it. I'm just happy to see that caves make a return. Also, a lot of other elements from Pikmin 2 also make a return too, yeah. One of those being the return of all the Pikmin! And 2 new Pikmin, once again. The Ice Pikmin, which can freeze water and enemies. And a not really Pikmin-like substance known as the Glow Pikmin, but they're also technically not Pikmin? They can only be used in caves and at night. Oh yeah, you can go out at night. So to keep it short, Pikmin 4 is pretty much the bad ending of Pikmin 1, where Olimar gets put into the Onion, which is the Pikmin ship. I am really missing a lot of these, am I? Well, this is a retrospective, not a review, so I don't have to explain everything. So when Olimar gets into the Onion, he basically becomes Pikminized with the stem on his head and is in the ground. And that happened to like many other people who came to this planet, and these are known as leaflings. And to cure them, you have to go out at night and get the sap from these things called luminols. But you have to protect these luminols, because if they get hurt too much, then they can't produce the sap. Just don't let them get hit, and you're good. This is like a tower defense type thing, which, like Pikmin 2 and its caves being roguelike, is honestly like a really neat thing. Now it does get really difficult and annoying, but it's still nice to see that they're using the Pikmin formula and putting it in different genres like this. That's not a 2D platformer. I also just completely went over like how Ochi works. Ochi is like actually really awesome. Ochi gives you the ability to jump and rush. Rush is like super broken when it's fully upgraded. Knocking into something while rushing knocks every single Pikmin that can get carried by Ochi off and land onto enemies. So if you use this with the combination of Ice Pikmin freezing the enemies, then it's like the most broken thing of all time, and it's actually like very easy to get through the game, which is really sad, because a lot of the Pikmin games before this are extremely challenging, and that's what made these so good. Pikmin 4 is still a good game on its own, but like that's just crazy broken and like insulting. This game really drills it into your head just how important management is. The word they use for this is dandori, which is a Japanese word that roughly translates to the procedure for carrying out a plan. This was used to describe Pikmin before in Pikmin 3, but in Pikmin 4, they really make it obvious here. This is something that you should remember. So much so that all the challenges in the battle mode is like literally named Dandori Challenge and Battle respectively. Dandori Challenge, you already know, it's like the challenge mode from 2 and 3, except like a little bit less interesting. And Dandori Battle is like slightly like the battle mode from Pikmin 2. And not Bingo Battle from Pikmin 3, which is really unfortunate. They do add more to the battle mode, but like it's structurally the same thing. Anyways, you do find Olimar and cure him from his leaflingness. And after that, you win. You can go home. But you can't actually. Olimar found a space dog of his own while he was on the planet named Moss. Moss is different from Ochi because she has a leaf tail, like how the Pikmin has leaf heads and bulb heads and flower heads. Ochi gets the same leaf tail, which means that he is pretty much stuck on this planet, because if you have that leaf, you can't leave. So they actually go back and find a cure for the leaf tail. During the credits, we see that Louie is also on the planet again, just chilling. And he causes a lot of chaos, but before we get into that, we have to talk about these three random bozos. The Kopais Nell York and Don Bergman are said to be on the planet, and these are supposedly the guys who can help you with the leaf tail incident. Now these guys obviously share a similarity to the already known Kopais from Pikmin 3, which begs the question why we just don't have them in the game instead of these guys, but you know, whatever. Brittany is the only character in the entire series that has a skirt on her spacesuit. Yeah, you can't tell her what to do. You go, girl. Louie literally dragged their lifeless leafling bodies for no reason, seemingly, besides that he just wants to.
Actually, the Kopais don't get leafified because they drink the glow sap, because Kopais like drinking stuff. Apparently, that's new lore. That's all I needed to correct.
And when you save them, now really the only one who can help you with this is Nell, because she's a veterinarian. And she knows the cure is to have another space dog is to find another space dog's hair who doesn't have the leaf tail already. So you can't use moss. And that just so happens to fit the description of the final boss, which Louis is riding again. Okay, this time there's not even an excuse, man. You're like this you. That is the end of the main game, but it does not end there. There is also an Olimar side mode called Olimar's Shipwreck Tales, which is pretty much just Pikmin 1, except it's not quite Pikmin 1 because you have camera controls and bigger areas and aren't the same areas as the ones in the main. And this is like a speed run mode, even more speed runny than Pikmin 1 itself, because you don't have 30 days this time. You have like 15, I think. I didn't really actually look that up. And you have to collect 30 ship parts in those 15 days, which seems impossible, but if you're good enough, you can knock that out easy as pie. You can see how he meets Moss, tries to bring Moss back to his home planet, but since the leaf meet you gotta go back and stay behind and die. Okay, well, not die, just turn into a leafling. I always thought that he died in the Pikmin 1 bad ending, but no, you don't actually. You can be cured. And then the events of Pikmin 4 occur. This is also the game where we see like an actual person's house as like a stage. So like, yeah, I think it's safe to say that this is post-apocalyptic. Also, none of the brands are like real world brand, like products brand. None of them are real anymore. The only thing that's real now is all the Nintendo themed stuff, like the SNES mouse and the Wave Race, that freaking GameCube control, whatever, what is it called? The Wave Bird. Yeah, that. And that's Pikmin 4. It is a lot, and rightfully so. This is definitely the biggest Pikmin game yet, and it was honestly worth the wait. 3.4 million copies is how this sold. Easily the best-selling game in the franchise, and hopefully it will stay that way in the future. Pikmin had a very rocky life. I am so grateful that it is still alive today and could be shared with many people. All this time, it was surviving through Smash Bros. And Miyamoto life support, which Star Fox was quickly unplugged from. But Miyamoto did not give up on Pikmin. He knew just how good this franchise could be, and he kept it going. And finally, it is giving the love that it deserves. Maybe Pikmin 5 can keep up this momentum.
Hopefully, the Switch 2 isn't a complete failure. Wait. I forgot about Pikmin Adventure Nintendo Land. Damn it!